Imagine relocating abroad with your entire family without paying tuition and actually getting paid to study. In today's video, I'm speaking with an incredible woman who did exactly that. She secured a fully funded PhD scholarship and moved abroad with her family. If you ever thought studying abroad with your spouse or kids is impossible, this video will change your mindset completely. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Oge, and on this channel I show you how to relocate abroad, find opportunities and build a better life for you and your family. Today I have a very special guest with me. She's going to be sharing her journey of getting a PhD scholarship and relocating with her family. Welcome to the channel. So I welcome my friend and sister Juliet Yang. So she's a researcher, career development professional, and social entrepreneur. And she is a PhD student from the University of Auckland, right?
Yeah,
All right, you're welcome.
so much. Okay, I'm so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to joining your podcast one of these days, and
Please.
here we are.
Thank you so much. So quickly, I'm just going to be asking you very, simple and straightforward questions, just so you can help my audience, my besties, my supporters, and they really want to know. Some of them have been asking me a lot of questions about how to migrate, how to get a scholarship, a PhD, or thereabout in New Zealand. So I'm just going to be asking you. But first of all, can you tell us where you have living before and how you relocate to and where you relocate to?
Um, okay. Yeah, I mean, amazing work you're doing, by the way. Okay. So I am originally Nigerian. I mean, I'm still Nigerian, so it's not like originally. Still, anything has changed.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm Nigerian. I lived in Nigeria, and so I was in Nigeria, a lecturer,
Hmm.
academic,
Yeah.
before moving to New Zealand. Yeah, so I moved to New Zealand in 2023.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, I moved to New Zealand 2023, and now I live in Auckland.
Wow, that's great. Okay, Auckland, New Zealand. Yeah. What inspired you to apply for a PhD abroad in New Zealand?
Hmm. Okay, so maybe that's why I said I'm originally Nigerian, right? But I actually first consider myself a global citizen.
Yeah,
So
you're
I
right.
believe that, yes, I believe that my some people will say fortune or destiny. I mean, I have
Mhm.
some technical issues with those words anyway. But some people, I just felt like my career, my journey is not tied
Mm,
to a specific location.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's why I believe God gave us two legs. We are
Mm,
not trees, right? So we have to move. Um, so even before undertaking a PhD in New Zealand or applying to a PhD in New Zealand, I've been traveling to
mm.
different countries for research purposes.
Wow.
Yes, before now I've been to Paris, been to Germany, been to Switzerland, been to USA. So it's all research,
Oh,
educational related. Do you
yeah,
get?
yeah, okay.
Um, going and most times this whole program I've always been very related to research,
Mm,
related to education, right?
yeah.
So, when you go, you come back, you go, you come back, you begin to notice that there's a lot of knowledge out there in the world that you can take advantage of, or you can I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. There is a lot of knowledge you should seize. There's just so much beyond your comfort zone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I did my BSc in Nigeria, I did my MSc in Nigeria, and then time to do my PhD. I was like, okay, actually, honestly, I started the
Mm-hmm.
PhD in Nigeria, but there was just this unfulfillment I kept feeling in my spirit.
Mm.
That there's so much to learn elsewhere.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so let me just quickly ship in this one. Let me ask you, to be honest, did you always believe that this is going to be possible for you? Like,
yeah, why not? I actually did. Yes, I actually did because I think I was fortunate to have good experience from my third year in the university when I was in my BSc, right? My third year was when I was funded by the United States government to go to the USA for a 5-week fully funded program.
Oh,
Right. So it was from that moment.
yeah, right. So I was gonna ask you, what point did you
Yeah,
decide to do it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it was from that moment I knew that, look, hey, there's a lot
Mhm.
outside of the world I knew.
Wow, wow,
So
wow.
I'm like, okay, this is it. So I just started going for, conferences or going for this or having, yeah, so I think
Mm,
some of them were like business pitch events. I won competitions and all that. And yeah.
mhm.
So,
But
but
then
it's just,
was there anyone or anything that pushed you to take this particular step?
um, yeah. So I've been pretty much very entrepreneurial,
Mm.
right, from undergrad. I joined a student entrepreneurship club. And then in that club, I had a friend. Yeah, she was a year ahead of me, Grace Iyejamaizu. She's the owner of Opportunity Dex. If you know, Opportunity Dex is the largest opportunity platform in Africa. She's the
Wow.
owner of that. So she was in the same club with me, but a year ahead of me. And so we
Mm-hmm.
like became close, and she was someone I greatly admired. And she's also like this global citizen as well, moving here and there. And so I was like, when there's someone like you admire, you're like, I have to be like
Yes,
this
yes.
person, sort
Yeah,
of,
I
yeah.
love
So she
that.
was a great
I love
motivation
that.
for me. So
Wow,
yeah.
that's really, really good. I'm sure my audience would get something from that. And yeah. So let's talk about the scholarship itself.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. So what scholarship did you apply for?
It was the University of Auckland's doctoral scholarship. So that scholarship is a scholarship. It's different from the New Zealand scholarship. So
Oh,
there is a New Zealand scholarship for international students, right?
yeah.
It's totally different. That's from the New Zealand government. So the
Mm.
one I am on is a scholarship by the university
Wow.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
for
Yeah.
doctoral students who they think are promising, right? So
Mm.
it's all the different universities have it, right?
Scholarship. Yeah.
But for the University of Auckland, where I school, it's University of Auckland Doctoral Scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all encompassing. It covers your fees. It pays you a stipend. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you that, but then yeah. Yeah. What exactly? Tell us. What exactly does it cover? Yeah.
Yeah. So it covers your school fees, covers your student fees, covers your insurance, everything, right? And pays you a stipend. Yeah. So and it's for 3.5 years. That is 3 years and 6 months. So you get all your school fees covered for the entire three years, 6 months. You get stipend every single month, and it's quite substantial. I think currently it's about 30. It's at the time when I came in, it was about $33,000
Yeah.
every year. Yeah, but it's more than that now. I think a little more than that. Maybe not up to 40,000, but 30 something. But I know it's more than that now,
New
right?
Zealand goods.
Yeah, I just keep increasing it every year.
New
So
Zealand goods, right?
yes, New Zealand dollars. Yeah, so they pay you that every 2 weeks, every fortnightly. They pay you, money. But in a year, it's about just a little over 30,000 New Zealand dollar as your stipend. Yeah, yeah,
Mm. So
yeah.
let's talk about the English test, right? Did
Hmm.
you need to write the high HLTS or the Greek or any particular exam? No.
No, no,
You
no.
hear that, right? No.
I did not.
No.
So I
Okay.
think I was able to bypass that, right?
Oh, okay.
Another thing is,
Can you want to share why, how? Yeah.
sure, definitely, why not? So the University of Auckland and many other, I mean, it's not like there are many universities, but other universities as well
Mm-hmm.
have IELTS or English writing, English test policies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that English test policies are usually written, if you go to the English requirements, you might click it once. The problem is many people don't read. So once you just go to the university's website and you go just to read the English requirements, you're just gonna see IELTS and you just say, oh, they want us to write IELTS.
Oh,
But there's
yeah.
always a clause somewhere that they will say, if you are from an English speaking country or countries listed like in this sheet, you are
Mm-hmm.
exempt. And so I saw that little clause and I clicked it. Lo and behold, Nigeria was listed. But then something happened, which I think is still important to mention, right? In
Okay.
case any other person encounters something like that. So yes, with that, I was exempt. So I didn't even bother thinking about IELTS or IELTS fee or not because hello, the university says it's exempt, right?
No.
Now I applied. In the course of my application, guess what? I was actually asked for IELTS again.
Mhm.
And so I had to respond to the admission officer at the time who emailed me asking for my IELTS degree. I had to respond to them. I mean, IELTS test rather. I had to respond to them saying, based on your, no, I referenced that document, even copy the document and put in my email and say, based on your document here, I am Nigeria, I've studied in Nigeria, I schooled in Nigeria, I lived in Nigeria, I have even taught people in Nigeria. I'm a lecturer and I teach in Nigeria. I teach in English, So grew up speaking English, writing English, being colonized by English colonial masters, speaking English. So what else you get? So I think something I also did to still just support my position was, I mean, fortunately, again, I was a lecturer, right? So I got um English proficiency letter from my HOD at the time. Yeah, so my HOD wrote that letter and say, yes, this is to confirm that Juliet Inyang, is a lecturer here. She has been teaching here for so number of years, and every lecture is done in English, is delivered in English, and yeah. So I used their own policies and responded in the email back to them. Yeah, and that was cancelled. Like they didn't need to bother me anymore with that.
And the process, was he competitive
For the scholarship or for the PhD?
for this both?
Was okay, great. Um, at the time when I was applying,
Mhm.
New Zealand was considering reopening its borders. So I think it was a good time to apply. Yeah, because the border was locked for about a year, or still a year or two. 1 year. Yeah, for over a year. They completely shut down because of the COVID.
Yeah.
So when I applied at a time when the borders were just beginning to be, they're like, okay, in 2022, we're going to open the borders, right? So this was 2021, going to 20, I started applying in 2021. So there was this whole, thing talks about, oh, we're going to open the border. So I think universities at that time were very, well, like it was less competitive because even at that time, remember that because of that border closure, New Zealand lost a lot of credibility,
Sure.
immigrants. So people were like, no, they can't do this, right? So it was a way, I think, a way of, it was some maybe recruitment strategy as a way of bringing people in. So it was not as competitive as it is today, but the scholarship was still competitive because the scholarship is very limited, right? It's very limited. So yes, the scholarship was competitive, but I cannot say because I was not part of the admission committee, but my senses, my perception of things would be that at that time they were quite like it was quite easier
Okay.
to get in.
So, what would you think made your application stand
Um so yeah, I've been before I started even applying myself, I've been supporting other people to apply for
out?
theirs. Not like I applied for them, no, but I've been supporting them. I've been reviewing. Already, like I told you, I already had all these international experiences that always needed me to write SOPs or write these essays or that. So I was already like in that space. I was supporting people already. I would support people. I'll see them go to Canada. I'll see them go to UK. I'll see them go to Sweden. Like it was, yeah, very normal for me, right? So, but something that I would say that gave me that edge was when you're applying to the PhD program, unlike the master's program where you just go online and apply, it doesn't work that way in the PhD.
I was gonna get there. If you can walk us through the application process
Beautiful,
step by
beautiful.
step, girl. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So you don't just I'll apply now. Nah, it doesn't work that way. What would happen is that you first of all need to understand what research topic you want to investigate.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not what course do you want to study. No. It starts with
The research.
what research topic do you want to
Because
explore?
there has to be a problem, and you need to solve the problem. So, what
Thank you. That's where it
was
starts.
it?
That is where it always should
Yeah.
start. So once you have identified,
I'm ready to do PhD right now.
I try to go for it, girl, go for it. Okay.
Yeah. And get paid for it. Like,
You
why
get
not?
that's what
Yeah.
yeah, so I was saying, right, it starts with identifying the problem. Once you've identified the problem, you'll be able to figure out which departments
Mhm.
it fits in. Sometimes it could be cross-disciplinary. You can have a supervisor from management and then have another supervisor in another department, depending on what problem
You want to
you
solve.
are solving, right? Yeah. So once you've identified that, next thing to do is to write a concept note. I use the word concept note because a lot of people who have done masters understand what I mean by concept notes. So
Yep.
it's a very short, abridged version of a research proposal. It's a research proposal, but maybe a 3 page, maybe max 5 page if you're like a writer, such a writer.
Hmm.
But 3 page stuff about the research you want to do, what method you want, how you want to go about the research, why you think the research is important, what you think you're going to find out. So that proposal, that concept note proposal, indicative proposal, research intent statement, whatever you want to call it, but that short thing is what you need to write. Now, when you have that ready, make sure you have your CV ready, not just a CV, academic CV. So there is CV and there's academic CV.
See the document, but then yeah, go on, go on, go
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
So once you
Tell
have
me
those,
my audience are listening and they are taking notes right now. Yes, go on,
also,
go on. Yeah, the document.
okay, so once you have those two documents ready, you're ready to start the process,
Mm.
right? You have your academic CV. Remember, I said academic, I did not say CV. Academic CV and your proposal. Once you have those two documents, the next thing you have to do is go to the university of your choice. You
Mm.
know, look at already, like I said, from your topic, you know where your research sort of falls in.
Um,
But look out
just
for.
want to pause you a little bit, okay,
Mhm,
before you move
mhm.
further.
It's
So
okay.
when you say academic CV, okay, I
Mhm.
know there are two types of CV. Just for my audience, for my besties that don't understand, yeah, and
Okay.
for people who wants to know, just a little bit of explanation, just a bit, like maybe
Okay,
one.
okay, okay, cool. No, very simple. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
the normal CV or resume just covers pretty much your work experiences and maybe achievements you've had, and yeah, so that's it, right? And your skills.
Yeah,
Academic CV has these components, but emphasizes more your research interests, your research skills, your
it's
research publications, your research experiences, and any teaching experiences that you have.
good. Okay,
Yeah. All right, great.
that's simple. Yeah. Thank
Once you have these two documents ready, your CV, academic CV, and your proposal,
you. Hmm.
the next thing to do is to go to the university website and try to find other professors. And I usually say target people who have designation senior lecturer and above.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has to be senior lecturer, not just lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professors, professors. I'm not sure emeritus professors are in a position to supervise you because they are like professors who have retired but are still just supporting the university. So some of them might, but very few, but most times not. But senior lecturers, associate professors, and professors, not assistant professors, associate professors and professors. So once you've targeted these people, like look at those people who are doing something similar. It does not have to be exactly the same research topic you want to investigate, but something similar, something in that area, right? So the next thing to do, once you've identified those ones, next thing for you to do is to pitch yourself to them, like sell yourself, like write to them. So you write that writing, they call it cold email.
Yeah.
You could email the lecturers and tell them,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You could email the lecturer and let them know your intentions to do a PhD and that this is where you're coming from, and this is you've attached your CV, like this is where you're coming from, this is why you were interested in them.
Yeah.
It's very helpful for you to identify something about their research
Mm-hmm.
that aligns with your own. So
Yeah.
you must not just people do the mistake of going to go and mass email lecturers because they just found people's emails online. No. You have to figure out people who has something aligned with
Mm.
you.
Can
Yeah.
you tell how long this process takes, like the entire process?
Yeah. At the time when I applied, it took over a year because I was applying when it was COVID.
Yeah, but the thing about some people when they're applying for a particular thing, they are not patient enough. They just do one or two and they just give up like, okay,
Nah, it doesn't work that
you
way.
have to be consistent.
That's
If you
because
know you want, look at my friend, she took over, some people do more than a year, right?
yeah,
Some
yeah,
people try over a year, 2 year, and they still get it. But if
yeah,
you're not consistent with something, if you are not passionate about wanting this thing, there is no how you can get it. But thanks
exactly.
for sharing anyway. And also, I just want to ask you,
No, but
um,
let me just hit
oh
on
yeah,
that. So that was at the time when I applied, right? But now, Now I think things have really picked up a
Oh,
lot. Yes. So
okay.
now if you write from the time when you write, not from the time when you from the time you start the process, I tell people realistically give yourself a year.
Okay.
But from the time you have started writing to professors to pitch yourself, right? And you know you're doing the right thing, give yourself within 3 to 6 months. Like
Mm,
it's more shorter for you
okay.
to get your admission. So
Yeah.
when you resume is up to you because there's for the PhD in New Zealand you can resume when you want.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good information. Thank you for sharing. And did you face any rejections before getting accepted?
Yep.
A
From
lot of
this
those.
lesson story. Well, maybe not a lot because I only applied to the University of Auckland at the time when I applied.
Mm,
Yeah, and guess what? I got was it rejection? No, okay, no, not rejection. But I was rejected for the scholarship first. Yes, I was rejected for the scholarship, not rejected for the admission per se.
oh,
Other countries, for in Auckland, it's only UOA I applied to. But other countries, I started applying to other countries like Sweden. Yes, I got rejected. Canada. Yes, I got rejected from 2 universities. Um, I got a prospect in Australia, but I got rejected by some other universities in Australia. But I got a prospect in Australia as well. Well, I couldn't go there because New Zealand came first. So I'm like bed in hand. Yeah, but I got rejected for the scholarship first when I applied, right? So thing was, I pushed back on them because their reason for my rejection was that they according to them, they know that I'm going to be a successful PhD candidate, but that I had already started my PhD elsewhere, and that the scholarship was for people who have never done a PhD. So
okay.
I had to push back on them with the aid of my supervisor at the time. We explained to them that I had only just started my PhD in Nigeria. So I'd not even had a research topic. I've not done any research seminar. I'd not started working on research because the way it was in Nigeria is you start with like taking courses and writing exams. So yeah, that's how it is in Nigeria, but that's not the way here. Here, once you come in, you're getting in with your research.
Mm.
So, but in Nigeria, your first year, sometimes your first year and a
Yeah,
half,
yeah.
writing exam. So I was in that course writing. So I've not even thought
Done
of
with that.
what I want to even like research on or like you get it was not so that was I think again that was also what helped me, right? And I was able to present the evidences. I was totally able I brought my transcript which showed that it was only coursework I had not done anything research. So I think with that I was considered like my point is I was able to push back a little.
Yeah.
I didn't just take, oh, I was rejected for scholarship, then I just went and cried. No. Push back. Yeah, because they gave a reason. So what I want you to take from here is sometimes they give you rejections. It's very okay to ask for a reason.
Mm.
And so
Even for
sometimes
a job, even when you apply for a job and they reject you, ask them. That's
yes,
good
yes,
feedback to
yes.
take.
And sometimes again they give you the reason along with the rejection.
Okay.
Yeah. But ask for it if you don't get a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So the
Right.
last question, right? And not really last question though.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most important part of the application?
Getting a supervisor.
Right.
Once you have somebody, once you've cold email a professor and the person says yes to you, you can as well start jumping. So long as you know you meet every other requirement, like maybe the CGPA or the what again? You have your proposal, you have your CV, which already you've shown the professor, right? Unless maybe the CGPA, like your grade points.
It's
And
not enough.
again, maybe it's very important to mention this. In New Zealand, the grade point average is 9 point. They use a 9 point system here. So for us in Nigeria, some schools use 4 points, 4 point CGPA. Some schools, but many schools use 5 points. But in New Zealand, it's 9 points.
Oh,
Yes. So that's the way it is. But if you go to the university, right, and then they say enter your grade point average. Imagine you're gonna write maybe even if you had four, like it happened to me. I had 4.92, and then I put in there 4.92. They might interpret it as 4.92 out.
yeah.
So I always tell people make sure that whatever you're doing is clear that it is 4 point this out of 5. You have to be
Yeah.
very clear. If
Mhm.
not, you're just gonna write grade point. You're writing to professors, you're writing my grade point average of 4.92. They interpret it as 4 point out of 9.
Yeah,
You
right.
always have to be very careful. State the overall points. Four
Point.
points out of, so that
That's
it's clear they
very.
can do the conversion properly for you. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much.
No.
So we move to the relocation right now. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about relocation, relocating
Okay.
with your family, because this is where a lot of people get scared, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you move with your husband and your children, or you just moved by yourself? Just take us
Uh,
along the journey.
I moved with my husband and my son. I had my daughter here.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh,
I was pregnant when I moved.
wow.
Yeah, I was actually I came in January and then I gave birth in March.
Okay.
So I was really pregnant when I left. Yes.
Okay. So how
Yes.
did you prepare your family for the move?
Um. So we had started this process. Remember that this is 2023. I
Mm-hmm.
started this process since 2021 when I
Yeah.
started the application. Then I got the admission end of 2021, but I deferred it because at the time when I got the admission, I was like, okay, this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any backup anywhere, so apart from my salary from the university, right? I had to start thinking of how to get funds for airfare, and we had to start thinking around it, my husband and I, airfare, proof of fund for visa. At least my scholarship helped me with the proof of fund, like significantly. But I
Yeah,
was gonna move with family, so I still needed to show funds for them.
of course.
Yeah, so I had to because of that. So this admission came in like 2021. I deferred it by one more year
Mm-hmm.
to 2022. So I used that 2022 to prepare. So I think that was where I now activated my entrepreneurial skills. Like I went into full blown entrepreneurial side of me. Did courses, hosted webinars, the workshops, did a lot to get money because I was had to now need money for something, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was what happened. We sold some properties as well, and yeah, to
Mm.
get funds to move. Um, yeah, so once we did that, we were able to meet immigrations fund required because I already had scholarship, which was very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
We had to just do all these other things to raise funds to be able to pay up every other thing and yeah, move and make the move. Yeah, so I planned my mindset was right from time. I'd always planned that if I'm gonna move for a very long time, I have to move my family. It's
Yeah.
just my mental model, my mindset.
Mm.
Yeah. I prefer to go visit a place and come back, but if I needed to move, I would have moved family. So I would have actually moved in 2020, but family was
Yeah.
not keen at the time.
Yeah. What about your husband? Did he get a work visa, like work rights? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great, great. So as a PhD student, you
Mm.
have unlimited work rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can work for any employer any amount of time. As a PhD
Yeah.
student, that's what's on your visa. So they give the same privilege to your spouse. So yes, when we came, my husband also had same unlimited work rights as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So when he
yeah.
came in, he started applying. Actually, he started even applying before he even moved in. Because when we were like sure we've gotten our visa, we
For
just
the
started.
job?
Yeah, when
Wow.
we are sure we got our visa, because whether you like it or not, you're moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we started at that time right from Nigeria. We started
Applying.
applying
Was there
for.
any successful job at the time? No. From
Yeah, so
Nigeria.
when we came in from Nigeria, not exactly. I think the success started coming in when we came into the country.
Okay.
Yeah, when we came into the country. So yeah, he got a job. Then I think 2 months later, he first got a job that helped us to get by. Then because I mean his wife was pregnant, right? He needed to do something to get to that's why to get by.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then about 2 months later, he started with the University of Auckland.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
And what about you said you mentioned that you had your son, you moved with your son and you were
yeah.
pregnant, right? So how did your son adjust to the new environment? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
maybe he was around, how old was he at
I
the
think
time?
he was 3.
3, yeah.
Was
So,
it?
but not a little big of change because
Okay, no,
it
it
was
was
really a baby. But then still, how
about
did he
4
adjust?
going to 5. He was
5?
about he was
Oh,
4 going to 5. Yeah.
oh, you'd be
He was
like,
even 5. Yeah.
my friends, I'm gonna miss my friends. So how did he adjust though?
Yeah. So he's been a very he's a people person. So I think he had fun adjusting. He had fun adjusting. Yeah. He's pretty much people person. He's very exploratory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when he came in here, he was but he's this kind of person that would even walk up to you and ask to be friends with you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
he won't wait for you to come. So I think that made it very easy. That his personality already made it quite easy, and he was. I think that politeness, that coming from Nigeria, I know how we're very polite. You see
yeah.
your elders, you must greet. Good morning, auntie. Good morning, uncle. So he
Oh, yeah.
came with that thing, and already being that he's this very outward going person. So he will come, he'll greet, good morning, auntie, and then he starts having conversations with you.
Yeah.
So I think it helped him. It helped him settling really well. Yeah.
What about you? You were pregnant at the time. So
Yeah.
oh, like,
Okay. I think maybe I was the one who had quite a little terrible time when I came immediately when I came out first. So I came in and I'm like, okay, I'm expecting to walk into a hospital or any clinic and just get registered for antenatal. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way here. So what do I have to do? You have to find a GP. You have to I'm like,
yes,
how do you mean find a GP?
had similar experience, but then go ahead. It's your story. It's your story. Yeah. Okay.
Find a GP. I'm like, okay, how do you even find a GP? Oh, you have to go online. Okay, is it that there's a place where there are GPs and you then just go choose a GP? No, it doesn't work that way. You find a GP, you look at them, you assess them, you kind of do like some sort of interview thing with your GP to know that they are the right person, figure out what cost. It was stressful. And then the GP, okay, at the point, okay, I found someone. I said, okay, I wanna, can I come in tomorrow? No, you have to book an appointment, and the appointment is like 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you know, I was like, okay, no problem. Then I went to book the appointment, and this is me pregnant. I was not driving a car. I'm trying to get used to the bus system, and then it was raining. I came the period where they had the cyclone,
Mm.
and then
So
it
if
was
I may ask, you were around 6 months, seven at the time?
yeah. I mean, I'm not very good with all these calculations, right? But yeah,
We
whatever.
have,
We're close to it.
we have the same story, my sister. Just carry on.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I think I was really gone because at the time when I went for my fit to fly, they were saying if I had stayed 1 more week,
Yeah, they won't
I would
have.
have not been approved to fly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fortunate that at least everything happened when it happened. So yeah. And then I went to go look for this back to the story. I went to go look for this GP somewhere in Green Lane. And I didn't understand the bus system, the transportation system. And so I'm standing there and the buses are passing. I'm like, hello, there's a pregnant woman standing here and you're just passing. And then later on, I called my friend, one of my colleagues. I said, no, you have to flag the buses. Oh my God. Okay. And then I flagged the bus and then I got in and I'm thinking, okay, it's a bus that would like take you, just tell them where you're going and they'll take you. And they're like, no, the bus I got to another stop. The bus I'm taking, that where I'm coming from, so I should have entered the other side and gone to the. And then I came out and it started raining very heavily and I'm here drenched in the rain and I'm crying and I don't know where to go to. I'm like, so yeah, so that was like that my first week was not fun. Yeah.
Goodness. We have like a similar experience though, but then this interview, this podcast is for you, so I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing because if I start to share my story, like, but then so what was the biggest challenge in moving as a family? Like the biggest challenge moving as a family.
The flight ticket.
Oh, sorry, the
The
flight.
flight ticket.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, sure, definitely.
The flight ticket, yeah. But again, I
Right.
think that for some people, finding housing is a very big challenge. But for me, I was fortunate because I wrote to the university before I came.
Okay.
Yeah, that I explained my situation to them. I was pregnant. I was moving. I would like to be considered for the university's accommodation, so I got it before I came. So there was
Wow.
already housing waiting for me when I
For
came.
me, yeah, that's great. That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Yes, that's really good. Thanks for sharing that. Some people don't know, and yeah, it's a very
yeah.
good
You can request. I
information.
also requested pickup, and my university came to pick me up. You can make
Pick you up.
requests. Yeah.
Why
You
not?
can request, make a request, send an email to the international student office. Yeah.
Was there any moment you felt overwhelmed or unsure about the decision?
Were there moments? Yeah, trying to do a PhD with a newborn
Mm,
and another little baby. Although it's not like I felt very overwhelmed. Well, but I did feel overwhelmed, but I felt like I could still push through it. But my supervisor then advised that I take leave.
mm-hmm,
So I took a 1 month leave. Yeah. So it's very okay. Students are able to take leave, but not more than 3 months. Once you're
mm,
going to take
yeah,
leave, yes.
yeah.
If you're going to take leave that's going to extend more than 3 months,
Mm.
you'll be asked to return to your home country. Yeah. So I
Of
took
course.
1 month. Yeah, I took 1 month because I just felt because she was gonna start kindy at 3 months old. So I just I was able to adjust anyway.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So now let's talk money.
Okay.
Because people want yeah, because people want the real truth, right? So was the scholarship enough to support your family? Now we're talking about a family of four,
Yeah,
right?
it's three because at the time my baby was
Were
breastfeeding.
were
So
three. So when they had done the assessment, was it based on the number of the household or just yourself? Just you,
no, the scholarship is not given based on number of households, just given to you. That's what is available.
single
That's what
person. Okay. So was
everybody
it
gets.
enough for the family?
Yeah, for rent and a little for feeding, but maybe not enough for like to save or anything. But
Mm.
it was
But
enough.
if just sorry, but then if it were to be a single person, would it have
Ah,
been enough
why not? Why not? If you're a single person, at the time I was paying $550 a week.
for rent?
Yeah, for rent. Five
Yeah.
hundred and fifty a week. That's what I was paying.
And that's like
So
two-bedroom
that's two
with
bedroom, yes.
yeah,
That's a 2 bedroom flat. So imagine if it's a single person, what am I doing with a 2 bedroom flat?
of course you're
Of
gonna
my stipend, I'm using maybe 200 or 250.
yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, and also because your husband was on got a work visa, so the
Yeah,
expectation is that he's gonna work and support the
exactly.
family. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you the additional income, but then yeah, your husband got the job.
Yeah, yeah. My husband supported really greatly. Yeah. So the scholarship was at least enough for rent. At least
Mm.
enough for rent.
Yeah. So what had the just for people who wants to know, what had the living cost like?
Again, rent. Rent takes up a large chunk.
On money and power, grocery.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes rent and power can come together.
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes you pay them separately, but pretty much accommodation related expenses is what really takes. I think that's the if they're able to fix that, I don't know how they'll fix it, but if they're able to fix that, then I think New Zealand is in fact apart from that, it's New Zealand is a great place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Was there any financial mistakes that you think was made at the time or nah?
In retrospect, I would not say it was a mistake, right? Because at the time I was wondering if selling off our landed property
Mm.
was a good step to take. Yeah. So, but we just did it anyway. Because I mean, it's not like we sold it because we wanted to sell it, and we sold it for flight.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like we sold it to come and invest here. We sold it for flight. So, um, I was like, I don't know. So that first time, there's a lot of uncertainties go on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think once you've gotten a job, you're able to be fine because we're able to make some money and yeah,
Yeah,
and get
sure.
it back. Yeah.
Get it back, of course. So what was the hardest moment during this entire journey? What was it?
Trying to do a PhD and dealing with the demands of a PhD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like giving up? Like,
Yeah, because at the time yeah, I think I had some interpersonal issues.
okay.
Yeah, probably cultural differences and cost setting. miscommunication or misinterpretation of communication cues.
Mm.
So I had some interpersonal issues with my um, professor at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so that sort of complicated the PhD process more for me.
Okay. You mean here in New Zealand or
New
back home?
Zealand, yeah, in New Zealand. And so I eventually, so you know where you're communicating one thing and it's being interpreted another way, and the person is communicating, you also misinterpret it. So just I think that cultural misunderstanding
Yeah.
happened. Yeah, happened. For example, we're very loud in Nigeria,
Mhm.
right? And then your professor is trying to explain something to you and you agree with them, but you're really trying to show that you really agree with them, and then it looks like you're shouting on them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So things
Get
like
that.
that happen. Yeah, it's now thinking about it now, like things like that happened, and
Mm.
I think that was like, so that sort of, like I said, complicated the process for me. It's complicated the process for me, but everything is fine now. But I'm just like, when you reflect back and you've stayed a while in the country, you've got to really understand certain people, you've understand certain cultures, you begin to see why certain things happened the way they did.
Okay.
So
And at
yeah,
the time you mentioned you felt like giving up. Is
yeah,
that it?
sure. Because my PhD process was complicated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to go into details, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had
Absolutely.
I had
Absolutely.
a complicated start.
Yeah, yeah. We're good. We're good with the little you can share with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And just one thing again, what shocked you? Like, what shocked you the most after relocation?
Hey, people are friendly. Yeah. You come and everybody, maybe not everybody, but 90% of the people are friendly.
Hmm.
And they really just want to know more about you. It's not like they want to judge you or
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
right.
People are friendly.
I know some people reached out to the community, like the Nigerian community. So did you by any chance, I'm this question though, did you by any chance reached out to them outside New Zealand, or did you reach out to them while you were in New Zealand? How is it?
Um, so I reached out to the Niger Kiwi community, the association, when
Hmm.
I was in Nigeria. So I found the Facebook page
Okay.
and then I reached out there, but there was no response.
Okay,
And
so I was going to not want you to go into so much details, right? But then when you say no response, because I know that even the community had, they every day they have a large amount of emails
mm,
people send over to them. So when you say you didn't receive any emails, how many times did you email?
no, not email. It was even Facebook because I didn't see the email at the time. It was
Okay.
Facebook I was able to reach out to. So I kept chatting on the Facebook. Hello, are you there? Somebody there? I'm coming to
Yeah.
New Zealand. There was no response. So
Okay.
when I came into Auckland, and I just started getting to meet one or two people. Then I got an idea of the community, right? I think I heard about it from Yatara. That's
Mm-hmm.
Adekemi Ajayi, the owner of Yatara African Foods, who sells the lady that sells African food. I was looking for African food, something, right? So I came on her website, then I called her, and then she told me about, there's is it what event was happening? Yeah, like annual general meeting or something. So I like, oh, okay, let's go and at least get to see other Nigerians. Yeah, then I went there, yeah, and I actually mentioned it too in the meeting though that before coming, I was starting the Facebook, nobody was responding. So
Yeah, I guess it's because it's Facebook, you know how the
yeah,
social media is. But then if it were to be the email directly, I'm sure there will be someone to respond to you.
yeah, at least if not for anything,
Mm.
because I came in when the old admin was just leaving, so I don't know much about the old admin. But the admin that is the administration currently, they are so proactive.
Okay,
So
I
if
wouldn't want to go into that
no, because
because
I don't know, I'm just telling you, I came when the new admin just became ushered in, but I think they are very proactive. So if anybody is trying to come and they email, they will get response.
okay,
Yeah, I
definitely.
don't know anything about the old set. I don't know nothing because I just came in and met the new the new, like when the new admin was just being inaugurated. That was when I came. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So I asked you what shocked you the most. after relocation, right? What was your response?
That people are very
Right?
friendly, and
Friendly.
outside of New Zealand, I think maybe this one is funny. Outside of New Zealand, you're reading about New Zealand and then you're hearing that they have all these volcanoes. I'm
Yeah.
like, so you're thinking you know all those things you see in the sci-fi movie, right? You come and then you're like, hey, you want to be careful where you're living because of volcanoes, you know. But you come and okay,
Yeah. So sorry, I will pull you back. When you said you were shocked, are you shocked that people are friendly?
yeah,
Why?
because there's a narrative
Mm-hmm.
that people don't really people are very racist towards Africans. There's a narrative outside.
New Zealand
And I cannot
are sweet.
yes,
This
and so I cannot I
TVs
can't
are sweet.
blame I can't blame people. I mean, but again, bad news travel far. So there's a narrative, not that people in New Zealand, the narrative is that generally as an African,
Oh
when you go out
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
because of your color, people so there's this also we ourselves there's this bias that we come with to new countries because you like just come putting up your defenses that people will
Yeah.
be racist towards you.
Yeah, right.
So imagine coming up putting up those defenses and you come and meet the complete opposite. Everybody's friendly with you.
Yeah.
You don't even need to,
No. Yeah.
yeah,
I get it now. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. But so for someone watching this right now,
yeah.
um, who feels like this is impossible, what advice would you give them?
How would you know it's impossible if you didn't try?
Yeah, right? You just have
It's
to
when,
put
you,
your
it's when you've tried and you've tried and you've figured out what, then you can now know whether it was impossible and you will know why. It's not just enough to say, oh, it was impossible. You will know why it was impossible. And again, always follow the right path.
yeah.
Always follow the right path. I think you've been doing a great job trying to sensitize people already about the different right strategies and right ways of moving.
Thank you.
So my last advice would be follow Oge, watch her videos, watch her
Yeah,
previous
tell them to subscribe.
subscribe, watch her previous videos. See what I'm
Like
saying?
that.
Because
Yeah.
her ears are like, you know, when they say someone's ears are on the ground, she's grounded. She's able to tell you any updates, anything that's coming up. So why not follow Oge?
Yeah, thank you. So what should they start doing today if they want this kind of opportunity?
Start learning how to research. You
Yeah.
don't have to be perfect, but start developing a research mindset
Mm-hmm. Mm.
first. Because no matter, I know some people say, "Oh, I'll just give somebody my proposal to write." You're gonna have interviews with the professors,
Yeah.
and they're
Mhm.
not stupid.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because so I was gonna ask you the biggest mistakes people make when applying. They give, yeah, you just
They
mentioned
carry their yes, they just carry their materials and outsource it to ghostwriters to write for them.
mm-hmm.
That's a
And they
very
can't defend
bad
it.
yeah. Because in New Zealand and some other universities, you will defend. It's not like defense per se, but before they even really say yes to you, they'll request to meet. If they find your work very interesting, they'll request to meet you. So
Yeah.
meeting you is a way of getting to put a face to the name and then trying to see how you communicate. And of course, if you didn't write that thing, you just be blank and stuttering and moving up and down. So first, try to learn, like develop a research mindset, but at least maybe follow all the research pages or learn, I think currently I have a research bootcamp course. I mean, I told you when I started the process.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I
let
told
them
you when
know.
I started the process, I went entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So I developed because I'm very good at research, right? So I developed a comprehensive, detailed research training course that takes anybody from zero to hero. I'm
Yeah,
not joking. The
yeah.
evidence is out there, the proof is there. So it takes you from zero to hero. So I did that, but I was selling it at the time because
You
I
have a
needed to
book?
get
Do you have
is
a
it?
book for it? Do you have a book or?
It's online now. It's on YouTube now. So here's the thing. Now it's free because I'm no longer. Yeah, I've closed. My partner and I have closed the research company in Nigeria. We've closed it. We're no longer operating that. So we donated that resource to the
Oh,
public. So now it's free on Academic Hive. So just on YouTube, check Academic Hive on
okay.
YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's full name Academic Hive for African Scholars, but just Academic Hive on YouTube. You will see Academic Hive Research Bootcamp course. You see it detailed. Like So if you're someone who is like, how do I even get started with this research? So long as you've done a BSc project, so long as you've done an MSc project,
Mm-hmm.
just go take that course. You will see clear mindset. You will start, you develop your own research topic. Like you feel very ready and pumped to go.
Wow, wow, this is a good thing you've done for, for
Yeah,
people.
it's free.
Yeah,
It's open. Anybody can have that now. So once you've done that, once you've developed that research mindset, you know what you want to research on. You know the problem you want to research on. Then you can start the process.
our process. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. And yeah, so if you had to start all over again, what would
Mhm.
you do different?
Hmm. I'm finding it difficult to answer the question because I think the way I've gone so far has always been the right. Like I think
Yeah,
it's the right way to go actually.
there's nothing you need to add to do more, better, or it's just perfect like that.
What would I do differently? Okay, maybe like I already said, right? I would really have come in with a very open mind, like I said. I came with this mindset of, okay, I know that some non-blacks can be racist, so I'm just going to, do so I can, what, like I just came with this not very I came with an open but not very open mindset, right? So sometimes I'll have communications and later on it's misinterpreted for dishonesty just because I didn't want to disclose, not like I was being dishonest, I didn't want to disclose certain things because I'm thinking I was going to be judged for those. So, but the other person who, like the other person on the other end, who is like really just wanting to know about me and then later realizing I had, concealed certain things, now begin to perceive me as being dishonest. So, but that was because, like, again, I came with this mindset of if I tell them everything now, they will judge me. So maybe if starting all over again, I could have come in with more open mindset, like very open mindset, without having any biases in my head. Yeah.
Good, good, thank you. So let's do a quick rapid fire. Okay, so I'm going to yeah. So what is one thing you wish you knew before moving? Just one.
Ah, oh my God, one thing I wish I knew that my son would not go to school until he's 5.
You didn't know?
I saw it online, but I didn't understand the seriousness of that. No school would take him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until 5. Wow. Okay. That's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. Okay. So what is the best part of living abroad?
Um, you get to meet new cultures, you get to meet more networks, you get more access. I think
People,
for me, is it?
amazing people like me.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or some people like Oge and the rest, of course. And yeah, you get to I think you get to access certain networks and resources that you normally wouldn't may not
Mm,
have in your
yeah,
home country. Yeah.
right. Yeah, good. So what is the hardest adjustments that you had to make?
Trying to care for my hair.
Yeah.
I locked my hair when I came to New Zealand.
Oh, you're lucky.
I had to do it here. Like it's when I came
Oh,
in
you
here.
did, yeah.
Here
Oh,
in New Zealand, I locked it here in New Zealand because it was difficult to care for it properly. Yeah.
okay. And that is the hardest adjustments you had to
Yeah,
make.
because I never imagined that someday I was gonna be
Lock your
unlocked.
hair.
Yeah. So I think so far for me that's the hardest so far.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Juliet, so much. Wow.
Okay.
This has been such an inspiring conversation that we have. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
your
you
journey with us.
too.
Thank you, thank you. And if you're watching this and you learned something today, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to see this. Yeah, someone needs to see this and learn from Juliet. And if you have any question, drop them in the comments. I will be responding to as many as I can. All right. Do you have, so Julia, do you have anything you would like to drop for the last, just to close the interview for today?
So,
Anything?
one thing I want everyone to know about New Zealand is that people's paths are different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one central thing about New Zealand is relationships. It's
Yeah.
a highly relationship centric society. So come with the mindset of getting to network, to meet people, to support people. And when you come with the mindset of giving value to other people, you will see this value being returned back to you. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great ending. Thank you so much, Juliet. And we hope to see you again.
Thank
Have
you.
you again here sharing beautiful stories with us. Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much. And
Take care.
bye to you. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye. Thank you for the awesome work.
Yeah.